You may be seated. Good morning and welcome to the opening celebration of Augsburg University. Woo! And to this Hoverston Chapel. You will gather in this space for many activities, for worship, yes, for political debates, for concerts, meals, student leadership activities, and so much more. And I invite you to bring your whole self into this space at every given time over the next 4 years. This morning, several different voices will offer their words of blessing and sending, and I want to introduce them to you now. Chul Lip, class of 2018. He's an interfaith scholar and the first international student from Cambodia. Fardosa Hassan, who is our Muslim chaplain and also an alum. Lex Dorfman, class of 2019. She's an interfaith scholar, and she is also the Hillel, Minnesota representative on campus this year. And Babette Chapman, who's our community collaborative partner in campus ministry, and she is about to be ordained as a Lutheran pastor in a few weeks. Woo. We're all thrilled to welcome you, and I invite you now to come from your many different faiths and traditions as we're drawn together in a spirit of unity and joy. Let us pause for a moment of gratitude. Holy One, loving God, you remind us that happy is the one that is like a tree planted by a stream of living water. As we gather on Riverside, not far from the Mississippi, refresh us for our teaching and learning this year. Nurture us as a community that we might grow in our skills, grow in knowledge and wisdom, grow in courage, grow in love. When we wither, feed us. Send our roots strong and deep. Make us productive, flexible, and marked by beauty. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. May peace be upon you all. I would recite a prayer. This prayer, usually Muslims recite this prayer when they arrive in a new place. Augsburg will be your home for the next 4 years. May God be with you as you take this exciting journey. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God. O God, O Allah, grant us the fruit of this place and create love for us in the people of this place, and create love in our heart for the people of this place. Ameen.
Thank you. I am going to give a prayer and a Buddhist prayer, and this prayer is for students and for education in general. So let's pray with me. The precious Buddha, the precious Dhamma, the precious Sangha, may Thy bless my friends before me to be well, happy, successful in their journey here at Augsburg University. May Thy wisdom, peace, and love and forgiveness be among them. May Thy guide them and enlighten them regardless of their karma. Sankita, Parada, Agami, Vatamana. Satu, Satu, Satu. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm Karen Kaivola, Provost and Chief Academic Officer at Augsburg, and it is my honor to welcome everyone to this year's opening convocation, which marks the official beginning of the academic year. Today, for the first time in our 148th year history, we begin the academic year as Augsburg University. Those of you who are new to Augsburg join us at an exciting moment in that long history. What's more, you will be among the first to take classes in our new academic building, the Hagfer Center for Science, Business, and Religion, which will open this spring. Thank you, Pastor Sonia, and all who offered interfaith voices as part of our welcome this morning. Thanks as well to organist Sonia Thompson for providing this morning's processional music. We are also delighted to feature the music of a student group, the Great Danes, as well as Harvey in this morning's program. A special welcome to our new students. The first-year students who are joining us as members of the class of 2021 and transfer students who come to complete degrees here at Augsburg that they began elsewhere. I also extend warm greetings to the new international students who are with us and call everyone's attention to the flags along the side wall. These flags represent the countries from which our students come. We are excited to welcome you all as our newest Augies. This year, we welcome 446 new first-year students and 200 new transfer students in the traditional undergraduate program. We also welcome, across our programs here in Minneapolis as well as Rochester, 76 new students in the adult undergraduate program and 254 new graduate students. All told, 976 new Augies. Woo! And a special shout out to our admissions staff for all their good work in building this year's class, as well as to the faculty and staff who helped with that effort. Students, you are members of the most diverse entering class in Augsburg's history. Augsburg is deeply committed to equity, inclusion, and justice. We also recognize that a diverse student body creates a necessary foundation for the learning that will best equip you to meet the needs of the world in the 21st century. These are challenging times, and the future will require all of us to work more collaboratively, creatively, and effectively with others, perhaps most especially with those whose worldviews, experiences, and beliefs differ from our own. During your time at Augsburg, you will experience traditions of academic life that connect you with students of the past as well as those of the future. Just as they did this morning to mark the beginning of your time with us, Augsburg faculty will again line up to applaud you on the day of your graduation as you process to Cy Melby for commencement ceremonies. As far off as that day may seem today, it will arrive sooner than you think. So many new experiences and opportunities will come to you between now and then. Make the most of them. Augsburg has deep roots in experiential learning, undergraduate research, vocational discernment, spiritual inquiry, a neighborhood in this urban location, and an approach to education that engages big questions and is informed by our shared humanity, as well as a conviction that each of us brings unique gifts that enhance our shared work. We have a dedicated and accomplished faculty whose primary commitment is to your learning and success. We have a staff equally committed to supporting you and providing learning opportunities beyond the walls of the classroom, whether in the neighborhood, across town, or in our global sites outside the US. Augsburg educates students to be informed citizens, thoughtful stewards, critical thinkers, and responsible leaders. An Augsburg education is about you. We measure our success by your success. As one student shared with me recently, Augsburg is a place where you won't get lost, and it's not just because this is a small campus, though it is, or because the faculty will notice if you're not in class, though they will. Rather, it is because at Augsburg, you have the freedom to discover who you are and what you are called to do in this world. And whoever that turns out to be, you will be accepted, supported, and valued as a member of this community. So, open your minds and hearts to the opportunities and the challenges that lie ahead. Test the merits of ideas, whether old or new, with your faculty and fellow students. Don't shy away from questions for which there are no easy answers. They're the ones most worth asking. Don't fear failure. There's no better or more powerful way to learn life's most important lessons. And take the time to get to know at least one faculty member outside of class this year. And yes, it is okay just to stop by during office hours. The relationships that grow from these informal moments matter. Faculty are uniquely situated to help you discern your unique gifts, and the better they know you, the more they can help. It is now my honor to introduce one of our most impressive student leaders, Bashiru Korma, or as he is widely known and will likely insist on being called, BK. BK is beginning his junior year at Augsburg with majors in international relations and international business and minors in political science, Spanish, and religion. He has been a LEAD Fellow, a Newman Civic Fellow, a member of Students for Racial Justice, and a member of the men's soccer team. One certainly gets the feeling, given such an impressive list of commitments, that BK is squeezing every possible good thing out of his time at Augsburg, taking advantage of the many opportunities available to him. I hope you will follow his example. So please join me in welcoming your day student body president, Bashiru Korma, or BK, to the podium.
Thanks, Karen. Your future depends on what you do today, and your today has already started. You might feel a little faint-hearted. That is normal and okay. As long as you keep your focus, you will find your way. This journey begins with support and guidance. Look around you. Together, let's form an alliance. Because together, we're not average. The foundation of this support is to leverage. It starts here. Like Karen said, my name is BK Korma, and I'm a junior and a day student body president. We're so excited to welcome you to Oxford University. I remember my first few days on campus 2 years ago. I was absolutely terrified, and I know that some of you feel the same way, and that's understandable. Because facing the unknown is always scary, but one of the things that you will learn soon is that some of these strangers might become some of the most important people in your life. I would like to share a few of my own experiences about how I made Oxford my home, by meeting great people, putting myself out there, getting involved, and having fun. Joining the soccer team was one of my very first experiences at Augsburg. Playing soccer was one of my favorite things in high school, so I was excited to come into college ready to do something that I really loved. Within that team, I found my roommates, my best friends, and honestly, my family. I've relied on my team since day one. After my first season was done, I knew teammates will always be my family. But I needed to make some new friends. I decided to join Students for Racial Justice. I was hoping to be a background helper who hung up flyers. But after I met the people I will be working with, I knew I wanted to do everything I could to support these incredibly passionate people. Once again, I found a new community and a new goal for my time on campus. As I reached the end of my second year, I started to think about wanting to be the day student body president. I asked 12 of my best friends to help me run my campaign, and I was amazed of how hard they worked to help me achieve my goal. They came up with creative ideas that blew my mind. I realized that the group of friends that I made do the much, but they're the most supportive group of people I could ever imagine. When I think back to the day I was sitting in the exact same seats that you are today, I never thought that Oxford would become my second home. I was terrified to start all over not knowing anyone. Even though it wasn't easy, the people that I was able to meet have made it all worth it. Thinking about the audiences at the open mic who was able to listen to me rap. The 2 a.m. trips to Taco Bell, and the people who went from being complete strangers to being my best friend. I realized that not only did I fit in, I was able to be the best version of myself. If you ask just about anyone what your favorite part of Oxford is, they will tell you the people. I think the most important thing to remember your first year here is that almost everyone on campus is friendly. And everyone wants to make new friends just as much as you do. So, take advantage of student groups and the events they put on. Talk to the people on your floor or in your classes. Play an intramural sport. Do whatever you can to put yourself out there. Get involved, meet people, and have fun. The people that you meet, even in the most random places, will be the most important part of your time at Oxford. The journey has started. but make it fun. Push through in the long run. It's your time, so shine bright like the sun. You see, when it gets tough, you have to grind. Don't decline, incline. Be yourself, but be kind. Work hard, smile, and everything will be fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, BK, for sharing your experience, insight, and wisdom with this group. I now invite you to stand as you are able to sing Breathe on Us, Creative Spirit, which is printed on the inside right side of your program. President Pribano's opening convocation address will follow the hymn without further introduction.
Please be seated. Good morning. So, things change. We have a new name, and you are the first class to enter Augsburg University. And remember that Augsburg has changed its name several times during the past 150 years. And we are about to open a new building, and you will be among the first students to enjoy its remarkable laboratories and classrooms and study spaces. And surely you all know that we have had many new buildings in our history. My point is that change happens, as it always has, but I also want you to know that there are things that will not change for this institution because they are at the heart of our identity and values and mission. You will receive the highest quality education we can offer in partnership with this remarkable faculty and with each other. You will meet friends and peers for life. Here they are. You will be equipped for democratic citizenship because the world needs you. And here then is what is required of you, as it has been for generations of Augies who have graced this campus as you do now. If you know your Hebrew Bible, and if you don't worry, Religion 100 will help. You will recognize the allusion in my title this morning to the well-known passage from the Old Testament prophet Micah, the 6th chapter, verse 8. He has showed you, O mortal, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, to act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. And if I was smart, I might just leave it right there, because if each of us were to behave as Micah claims the Lord requires, all would be well with the world. Justice, mercy, and humility set a high bar for God's faithful people. But the theological claim embedded in Micah's prophetic words is not mine to negotiate for you. The links between your faith, your relationship with the divine, and how you live in the world are for you to explore and work out. We will provide a rich and challenging context for you to do just that, but we do not pretend to know how you will make sense of what the Lord requires of you. On the other hand, there are some things that we can and do require of you, and that is the simple message I want to share with you this morning as you commence your Augsburg education. And maybe, just maybe, if you do what we require of you, we'll find a pathway to understand what the Lord requires of you. That would be the bold claim at the heart of our education for vocation in the world, that how and what you learn here, that who you meet and engage here, that what you find out here about yourself and your various gifts will offer you a clearer idea of what it is that you are called to do and be in the world. Especially at the beginning of this academic year, and in a time rife with social and political division and fear, I want to say a bit about the place and space in which you will pursue what is required of you. You come to college at a time when many are questioning how or even whether our democracy will survive. During your lifetimes, our society has experienced a growing gap between those who have and those who have not, a gap that threatens to unravel the social fabric of our communities. In just the past few months, we've seen our city, country, and world divided by all sorts of isms: racism, nationalism, fundamentalism. In the midst of all this volatility, you come to this community, Augsburg University, an institution that at its very core believes in democracy, not simply as a political system, but as an ethic, a way of life. And this democratic ethic means that you become members of a teaching and learning community, students, faculty, staff, community partners, that believes that there are clear parameters for our lives together, in classrooms, residence halls, playing fields, in this chapel, everywhere we navigate daily life. There is, in other words, what Yale law professor Stephen Carter has called an etiquette of democracy. Rules you must follow if we are to live and work and study in ways that live out our mission as a college. We've always believed that a college education is about challenging ourselves with new ways of thinking, provocative questions, mind-stretching inquiry and conversations, pursuing knowledge and wisdom with abandon. And that is deeply intense and sometimes emotional work. The commitment to our academic vocation, critical thinking, openness to other perspectives and experiences, having your mind changed and your life transformed, may be even more difficult in the midst of our social disruptions, particularly when those disruptions are directed at your community, your faith, your family, your identity or heritage or upbringing. It can be frightening. It can make us angry. And it can be threatening to risk our social identities in the midst of those who do not share our paths in the world. And for all of these reasons, the etiquette of our lives together has never been more important to the well-being of our common lives here at Augsburg. Professor Carter suggests a few rules. I'll just quote a few. Our duty to be civil toward others does not depend on whether we like them or not. Civility requires that we sacrifice for strangers, not just for the people we know. We must come into the presence of our fellow human beings with a sense of awe and gratitude. Civility requires that we listen to others with the knowledge of the possibility that they are right and we are wrong. Imagine that. All important markers of our lives together. Perhaps, though, I could suggest an even more personal and simple rule. Let us be generous and gentle with each other, perhaps with a portion of forgiveness and grace, not so that freedoms are abridged or opinions squashed. College is not meant to be a safe place for your minds. You will encounter provocative, even troubling ideas here. But to be that way so that we might pursue our teaching and learning in ways that advance our mission and our democracy, gentle and generous, the etiquette of democracy, a claim upon all of us in this place we now call Augsburg University. In this context, then, what is it that is required of you, our newest colleagues? First, show up. It's really pretty fundamental, and you've already begun to live up to it. You're here on campus, engaged in your orientation. You're here at this opening convocation, about to begin your college classes. But as the coming days pass, you will be tempted by many distractions and late nights and other obligations to not show up, to miss a class or a meeting, to say that it doesn't matter whether you attend every class session. I know this tendency. I lived it myself, making up elaborate excuses for why I could skip every 7th class session and no one would notice. And we might not notice every time, but you will notice, whether you fully get it now or not, that it's a slippery slope not to show up. Statistics show that skipping even one class session has an impact on whether or not first-year college students stay in school, let alone graduate, or perhaps most importantly, whether or not they learn something. But of course, this is not simply about showing up for class. Showing up is also sort of a spiritual practice. It's about being present now. It's about being in relationship to a text, a classmate, to a teacher. It's about accompanying each other on a journey that is both solitary and social. The famous educational philosopher John Dewey said that genuine education is not preparation for life. It is life itself. And if you believe that, as we do here at Augsburg, then showing up, being present now is the key factor in whether or not you get the education you need in order to live in the world. Show up, please. Second, pay attention. Also quite simple. But the equally simple fact is that we live in a world full of distractions, and paying attention doesn't come easy. Like you, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. Follow me at Paul Pribanow if you must. I have an iPhone, an iPad, a laptop. I read 2 newspapers each morning, probably have 20 magazine subscriptions. I do my best to lead this wonderful and complex university. I have 2 children, a wonderful spouse who works at the kids' school and also manages the house where we live, and a life full of things that I must pay attention to. And it's hard work. And I'm old. And you're young. And you've grown up in a time when multitasking is not an option. It's an expectation. I really can't imagine how you keep it all together. I admire you, but I also worry about you. So here I stand asking you to pay attention. Yes, I mean, put away the distractions that you can control. Turn off the cell phone occasionally. Spend some time away from the computer. Focus in on what your teachers and classmates are saying and doing. Find ways to pay attention. But it's more than that, of course, because even when you have put away all these sources of distraction, it remains your responsibility to figure out what is most important and how you can make what is most important the center of your life. The sociologist Robert Bellah and his associates have written, and I quote, "Democracy means paying attention," by which they mean that the psychic energy we use to pay attention is the key to the sort of person we hope to be as individuals and as a society. If we continue to be distracted, our attention and the energy that it requires of us will also be distracted. And the values and people and ideas and causes we should care about and attend to will not get our energy. And we will not become the people we want to be. We will follow someone else's idea of our call. Pay attention, please. And finally, do the work. Final requirement follows logically from the first 2. If you show up and you truly pay attention, you will find that there is work for you to do in the world. Many days, that work will be assigned to you. Read this text, explore these ideas, test this hypothesis, run this experiment, play this scale, practice this drill. You know all about doing schoolwork already. But please know that this is college, and college signals a quantum leap in the work required of you. Don't get behind on readings and papers. Take advantage of the support we offer to help you manage your time and learn to study. Support each other and ask for help when you feel you need it. Because more and more, on many days, the work will be yours to discern and pursue. There will be no one there to tell you what to do. You will need to seize the work that needs to be done. The profound truth at the heart of our academic mission is that the work you learn to do here, in the classroom, on campus, with each other, in our neighborhood, and around the world, is the basis for pursuing the important work to be done in the world. and we need you to do it. We are counting on you to do it. That is why this university exists, to educate you to be informed citizens, thoughtful stewards, critical thinkers, and responsible leaders. Not just because we think it would be nice if you were all those sorts of citizens, stewards, thinkers, and leaders, but because the world needs you. There is utility to this education. There is purpose and direction. There is work to be done by educated folks, work they are called to do, work that just might have to do with what the prophet Micah claimed, the work of justice and compassion and humility. Do the work, please. And that is what is required of you. In this university, dedicated to democratic engagement, simple lessons that I hope you will remember. Show up, pay attention, do the work. Lessons that should help you in college, I would argue, but most critically and urgently, lessons that will serve you for a lifetime of following your passions and calls for the good of the world. I can't wait to see what good you will do. Welcome to Augsburg. It's our great privilege to have you all here. Thank you.
Thank you, President Pribenow, for sharing those remarkable words and wisdom with us this morning. It is now my privilege to introduce Dr. Joyce Miller, Associate Professor of Nursing and the 2017 recipient of the Distinguished Contributions Award for Excellence in Teaching. Joyce is an Augie several times over. She earned her bachelor's, master's, and Doctor of Nursing Practice degrees from Augsburg. She joined the faculty in 2004, teaching both undergraduate and graduate nursing courses in Minneapolis and in Rochester. She currently serves as chair of the Department of Nursing. At the heart of Joyce's teaching is a passion for educating nurses who can provide the kind of care people need in a complex, interconnected, and multicultural world. For Joyce, this kind of education begins with an awareness of one's own cultural identity, values, and beliefs. A Reiki master, Joyce has dedicated much of her adult life to understanding the voices of others, so as to be able to educate nurses in providing more effective care across cultures. Her students learn not only in the traditional classroom, but from transcultural immersion experiences. Joyce has taken students to England, Guatemala, Mexico, and Nicaragua to study nursing practices abroad, and closer to home, regularly introduces students to alternative nursing methods in Amish communities in Wisconsin. Joyce has also had an impact at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, where during her doctoral program, she helped develop and implement an educational care model for pregnant Somali women. This innovative model recognized and responded to the cultural and social context of these women's lived experiences in order to improve outcomes for both mother and unborn child. One of the colleagues who nominated Joyce for the Distinguished Teaching Award described her using the words of author Scott Hayden, and I quote, "Teachers have three loves: love of learning, love of learners, and the love of bringing the first two loves together," end quote. With over 45 years of nursing experience, such deep knowledge and passion for nursing, and an intense love of learning, Joyce builds community wherever she goes, and through her own example and innovative practice, she teaches her students to love what she loves. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Joyce Miller, 2017 recipient of Augsburg's Distinguished Contributions Award for Teaching.
When Karen said 45 years of experience, I thought, you're probably expecting somebody to get up here with a cane and walking, right? So today we're here, we have so much to celebrate. We're not only celebrating the start of a new academic year, the name change from college to university. But most of all, we're celebrating you, the students, you who have chosen to come to Augsburg University. So I ask you, do you believe in synchronicity? Have you ever been thinking about a friend or a family member, perhaps who you haven't seen or spoken to in a long time, and suddenly they're on the phone? Or maybe you're in the shower and you're singing a song, and you get into your vehicle or you turn on your radio, and that same song is playing. The concept of synchronicity, or things happening simultaneously, is a concept introduced by Carl Jung, a psychologist. He believed that meaningful coincidences play an important role in our lives. I believe it's not just a coincidence that you came to Augsburg University, but rather you've been called. Now, by the term called, I don't mean that an admission officer called you up and said, please consider coming to Augsburg, or that your athletic coach recruited you to play a sport, but rather there's a reason why you are here, a meaningful coincidence. Your decision to attend a college was a major one. Maybe some of you are the first member in your family to go off to college, while other of you have to come here because your brothers and sisters and mothers and families and everybody came to Augsburg. But for whatever the reason, I believe you made the right choice. Like Karen said, I am an Augie, and I'm an Augsburg through and through. And I can personally tell you that the education I received at Augsburg truly transformed my life. So, before getting here today, how many times have you been asked, what are you going to do when you grow up? Where are you going to go to college? But today, as you sit here, some of you still may not know why you're going to college. Some of you may come here and change your major 3 or 4 times, but that's okay. Although your parents might not be too excited because they just want you to graduate in 4 years. Now, sit here today and think about, fast forward to 2021. You're going to be graduating. You're going to be walking out of these doors. And all of a sudden, society says, you now need to enter the world of work. And hopefully, you've chosen the right profession. You've taken the right courses. You know what you studied. You start your first job. You really want that job to use your gifts and your talents. And you want a sense of satisfaction from that job. But really, what you don't want is just a job, but a vocation or a calling. When you have found your calling, wages and prestige are really secondary to the passion and satisfaction you will feel in return. And when it comes to life happiness, individuals with a vocation feel the most satisfied. A vocation taps into your life purpose. So how do you begin to navigate your life's purpose while here at Augsburg? One of the first areas to do is to discover. Discover is to get to know and to become aware, one of the essential elements in learning, besides what President Priba now told you to do, show up and do the work. So while you're at college, it's fun because you get to discover who you are. Maybe uncover some passions that you have, or what motivates you. What gets you up in the morning? I'm a nurse for many, many years, and a teacher. And I always knew that I wanted to be a nurse. I was passionate about learning the skills of nursing. It wasn't until 30 years later that I discovered my calling to teach, a second purpose in life. So when I went to college, I knew I needed to learn how the human body worked. So besides my nursing classes, I had to take all those anatomy and physiology and organic and inorganic chemistry and microbiologies. And besides the sciences, I needed to learn about sociology and better understand patterns of social interactions. which spurred my interest in transcultural nursing. I took psychology classes to help understand the mind and the emotional human behavior that affects so many of us today. I even learned sign language. I cared for a deaf patient who was having surgery, and she was so excited that I was able to communicate to her, and even though all I said was, "Hello, my name is Joyce," that patient was so appreciative that I took the moment to connect with her. So you're never going to know what you learn in the classroom, how it's going to benefit you later in life. Because sometimes you take classes and you think, what the heck do I need to know this for? I took the intro to music. No, nothing wrong with music. I love music. You know, I learned about Baroque and classical and all of the eras, and I thought, how am I going to use this later in my career? But as I reflect back on my education, every one of my classes shaped me who I am today. I may not have understood it at the time or even appreciated what my classroom teachers were trying to tell me, but later I learned. So while you're in school, it's essential to not only discover the classroom, discover your books, discover your assignments, but to discover others around you. I understand this is the most diverse class at Augsburg, so it's going to be so important for you to learn from others while respecting everyone's differences. Because of the diversity in the classroom, you're going to gain the knowledge and skills necessary to navigate a world of people from all backgrounds and experiences. You are so fortunate that your liberal arts education will help you understand and embrace the richness of others. So not only understand the classroom, but to begin to explore the community around you. I understand that during your orientation, you visited 9 neighborhoods, and today you're going to be involved in City Day projects within the community. When it comes to service in the community, I want to share with you that the nursing department has 2 health commons, which are health-focused drop-in centers. One of the locations is at Central Lutheran Church in downtown Minneapolis, and the other is right here in the Cedar Riverside area. The Health Commons at the Central Lutheran Church serves the marginalized and the homeless populations. Students, both nursing and non-nursing, have the opportunity to provide services to people who live in difficult circumstances. So I hope that sometime during your education here at Augsburg, you're going to be able to stop by and see our practice of framework at the Health Commons that focuses on radical hospitality and building healthy relationships with others. Last year at the Health Commons at Central, and believe it, we are only open 4 hours a week, we had over 7,000 visitors, and we gave away 7,075 pairs of socks. This October, we're pleased to share that we will be celebrating 25 years of service at Central. Yes. So today, following the convocation, I hope you take time to stop by the table that we've set up in the quad and build a hygiene kit or a foot care kit. Learning to serve your neighbor is an essential when you're at Augsburg College. The second way to navigate your purpose is to belong. Augsburg's a community with 50 student organizations and 21 athletic teams, from campus ministry to art club, to student government, to the Indigenous Student Association, the Queer Pride Alliance, to students from racial justice. There are so many ways to connect with your peers and develop that sense of belonging. Remember, developing relationships in college as well as in life is so important. Remember, you are who you are because of everyone around you. Through belonging, you will begin to develop a sense of purpose. On Friday, I spoke to some of your orientation leaders, and they said on that first day of orientation, you were really able to step out of your comfort zone and become engaged. You were willing to engage in discussing those tough issues. During your educational experience here, you're going to have many opportunities to wrestle with controversial topics in and out of the classroom. However uncomfortable this may make you feel, it's essential for you to allow all voices to be heard, especially when they're different from your own. But I ask you to be respectful and to be open to listen to all ideas. Let go of your ego. Our ego can get in the way of listening and being with others. Being open to others' ideas is a necessary tool to be a peacemaker in the world. The third way to navigate your purpose is to discern. So what do I mean by discern? Discern is to recognize or understand something that's not clear. So how do you begin to make sense of this complex world? How do you think critically about the information you're learning or experiencing? How do you learn the skills and knowledge required to engage in civic life and thoughtful analysis across disciplines and ideas? Take the time to reflect on the meaning. We are so busy in our life that most of us just continue to do. We continue to experience things, but we never really take time to understand what's the meaning. As faculty at Augsburg, we are really trying to prepare you as adults to wrestle with different ideas and life choices. Life is not linear. It can be so full of interruptions, surprises, uncertainties. But remember, it's not what happens to you, it's what you make of that experience. It's how you respond or react to a situation that makes the difference. So while you're here, take time to reflect on why did you bristle when somebody said something? Why did you react so strongly to a comment or a situation? Be able to look inside and discern on your experiences, not only in the classroom, but in life. So, as you journey through these next 4 years, the education that you will receive at Augsburg University, I can tell you will be transforming. My wish for you is that you will learn the skills to navigate life's uncertainties while discovering your own purpose. Through your education, civic engagement, and community service, you will become an informed citizen who knows how to engage with others and make a difference in the world. So remember, while you are here, discover and learn, belong and become, discern and expand your awareness. But most of all, I want you to enjoy the ride as you transform yourself through this educational journey to uncover your calling. Best wishes for an incredible year, and welcome to Augsburg University.
xalay arkayow kumood awrkii cirkaan xalay arkayow kumood muddo kuwag wareege niyadaan ku ogsaday markaan furay albaabkii niyadaan ku ogsaday markaan furay albaabkii awrkii cirkaan xalay arkayow kumood awrkii cirkaan xalay arkayow kumood muddo kuwag wareege ugubnima xishoodne irnugay la waabte ugubnima xishoodne irnugay la waabte afka kama cadayn karo ergana uma diiran kare caashaqu ogaysiis ma leeyahay ugubnima xishoodne irnugay la waabte ugubnima xishoodne irnugay la waabte afka kama cadayn karo ergana uma diiran kare caashaqu ogaysiis ma leeyahay عاشقو دراني هولي قمدايه كلك مدوبو عاشقو دراني هولي قمدايه مركان دولتنا دبا دبوحوك كينا تخري حماتي وحوك كينا تخري حماتي وإذا دهيا مرئي لبد بليا وإذا دهيا مرئي لبد بليا إيمانا تلقاتي أي قد ويا دلو أي قد القادلو وإذا دهيا مرئي لبد بليا وإذا دهيا مرئي لبد بليا إيمانا تلقاتي أي قد ويا دلو أي قد القادلو وإذا دهيا I'm sorry that you don't understand the language, you know? Sorry.
Thank you, Great Danes. Thank you, Rama Rose. Thank you so much. And thank you, Joyce, for adding your wisdom to this morning's experience. As our ceremony comes to a close, a reminder that following the recession, faculty will line up to applaud students as they exit Foss Atrium. We will all then gather in the quad for live music, food, and festivities, a celebration of becoming Augsburg University. Students, faculty, and staff will all come together on the quad for music, food, and other things, and at 11:30 there will be a short program featuring President Pribanow. A special call out here to Jody Cullen and her staff for their good work in planning all of today's events. At 12:30, following today's lunch, students, faculty, and staff will fan out across the Twin Cities for City Service Day projects, an important Augsburg opening day tradition, one through which we live out our mission to be of service to our neighbors and communities. After the closing, the platform party will lead the recessional, followed first by the faculty and then by students. I now invite Community Collaborative Partner Babette Chapman and Interfaith Scholar Alexis Dorfman forward to offer closings for today's ceremony.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Augsburg University. It's so nice to see everyone here. I'm super excited for you. I want to send you off with a prayer. It's a traveler's prayer in Judaism. It's called Tefillat Haderech, and it goes like this. May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul, and may this be our blessing. Amen.
And now I ask that everyone stand as you're able. These words of gratitude for your willingness to take the leadership in your academic life, for knowing that you have something of value to contribute. Now hear these words. We at Augsburg are here for you. This is a promise and a commitment. May you be inspired leaders in your lives and in the lives of others. May you allow the divine creator to be your leader in more and more the life here on Augsburg University campus. Go. Be generous and gentle. Go with joy, go in unity, and celebrate the first day of the rest of your life. Peace and blessings. And together we say, Amen.
wadka hadduu iga celin karin kan ka waabanayno waynow hayna kala wadine waa qodlaba isjecelo liibaanku warto aan iswayn inaga yeel aan iswahayn inaga yeel waynow hayna kala wadine waa qodlaba isjecelo liibaanku warto aan iswayn inaga yeel aan iswahayn inaga yeel waynow hayna kala wadine waa qodlaba